Before we talk specifically about St. Louis, let's back up just a little bit and get a national perspective. We're going to start our show off tonight on Google Plus, talking to a man by the name of Patrick Rooney. Patrick Rooney. Patrick is the executive director for the Center of Philanthropy at Indiana University, really a leading expert on this topic nationwide. He wouldn't brag on himself, so I will just a little bit. Patrick, thank you for being here with us. I guess, first of all, what are some trends that you're seeing nationwide? It's no secret we've had some tough economic times lately.
That's right, Casey. One of the things that's interesting right now is as the economy recovers, we're seeing philanthropy recover, but just like the economy recovering at a fairly slow rate, we're seeing private philanthropic support also recovering at a slow rate. And this is important to keep in mind following the perfect storm during the Great Recession, in which we had all-time high demand because of unemployment, hunger, homelessness, and so on. At the same time, we also had diminished philanthropic support. Total giving declined 15% in inflation-adjusted dollars during the Great Recession.
So at the same time, when people needed it the most, there was less to be handed out, so to speak. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And not only did philanthropic support decline through private giving, but also government contracts and grants to nonprofits declined, and income off of their endowments fell, and earned income fell. And so nonprofits saw this coalescing of high demand and low supply of resources from all sources. And so that made it fairly difficult for all the constituencies who needed to be served in a timely and accurate manner or complete manner.
How fast are we recovering? Or is philanthropy recovering at the same sluggish rate as the economy, or even worse?
Yeah, it's really tracking fairly closely with the economy. It's not exactly the same. In some ways, it's even worse. If you look at the average of the last 2 years of recovery, if the economy continued to grow at its current rate and the philanthropic recovery continued to grow at its current rate, it would take just over a decade to get back to where we were in 2007 before the Great Recession began.
10 years to get back to where we were.
Exactly.
Wow. Who gives these days? Who gives? How much? Is it? Can you break that down for us?
Sure. I mean, one of the things that's really wonderful about America is that in any given year, about 2/3 of Americans give something at all, and so this might be as little as $25 to help out a local charity or to the local mass mosque synagogue, but many people are giving large dollar amounts as well, and there's a great variation. What we find on average is that in a typical year, the average American gives just over $2,000 of those who donate something at all. We've also done studies for Bank of America on philanthropy among high net worth households, and we see in this that high net worth households, which we categorize as those earning $200,000 a year or more, and or having $1 million or more in net worth, excluding their primary residence, what we find is that those households give quite a bit, and that small top group of 3% account for just over half of total giving. But it's also important to acknowledge that the rest of America, the lower 97%, so to speak, that they also account for almost half.
Yeah.
And so the charities need to pay attention to both major gift donors at the high end, but also you and me and everybody else in between who constitute the rest of the giving population.
Real quickly, last question, is this uniquely American to some degree? Are we different than other countries when it comes to how we take care of our folks and causes and arts and different things?
Well, Casey, it's not uniquely American in the sense that what we see as you look at philanthropy around the world, that there are some forms of philanthropy in every society. Sure. Across every generation, sure. Right? But it's uniquely American in the sense that we give a higher share of our GDP, we give a higher share of our personal income, we are more deeply engaged in philanthropic support for the nonprofit sector in many different dimensions. Part of this is a result of our tax policies. We also have the lowest tax rates of any country except for Japan of the Western industrialized nations, and so there's a difference there. Yeah. But I think there's also been an American tradition of self-reliance and reliance on private philanthropy.
Patrick?